Welcome to Containerized Conversations, where we try to containerize our conversation. I'm Jesse Caffarelli.
And I'm Josh Warhurst. Thanks for tuning in as we dive into some of our favorite topics, one containerized thought at a time.
Welcome back, listeners. And welcome back, Josh.
Feels good to be back. How does it feel, Jesse?
It feels good. I don't know how that became our second intro. You know, we pre-recorded our last intro, and then
but I feel like sometimes you need to just it feels weird to drop right into a topic unless your podcast is like
chaos.
Well, but like if it's like a serial story or something, right? Last time on Containerized Conversations. No, don't kill him. You know, like
you did what with the AI?
But you know, it makes sense. So, but we do. I think people know we do have some conversations prior to us recording, and they always start going off the rails. And you always say, "Turn on the mics. Let's get this recorded." And I think it's fair.
Basically, the origin story of our podcast.
So. Do you want to recap us where we were, where we left?
No, you just start from the beginning. I'll pretend like I wasn't listening.
You probably weren't. No, I'm kidding. You're a great listener.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot on this podcast about AI. It kind of comes with the territory because our days are now half AI, right?
I mean, Josh, I'm literally an AI engineer. There's no leaning away from it anymore.
Yeah,
we have to talk about it.
My title's still like senior software engineer, right? I'm still technically in that camp. But
you're just fighting against the stream.
Hey, titles mean nothing to me. The important thing is that every day when we sit down, we start, we open up whatever our tool of choice is and start using AI to start completing work, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's like completing work itself or doing reviews or writing documentation, right? Based on what you have or helping you understand code base. Like AI is 3/4 of my day, right?
Yeah.
And yours even more so because you're, trying to...
I'm using AI to write AI.
Yeah. Yeah, AI all the way down. So, but I feel like, when I talk to a lot of people outside of work, right? AI kind of has these two sort of polar conversations going on, right? Polar opposite conversations. Yeah. There's the AI as like a pure tool, right? And that's what I think we're doing at work, right? We're having AI essentially write code, or documentation, whatever. Stuff that's like traditionally kind of boring.
Yeah.
And is there to serve a single purpose. And I feel like the conversation is very different when it comes to AI in other uses, right? AI to make art, right? AI to make video.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conversation, especially on the internet, that's just like, and I know the internet isn't everybody, but it's like, this AI sucks, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that way, right? Like, I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but because I can't. But like for me, like the AI code, the AI documentation stuff, the stuff that I use for work, I'm like, this stuff's great. The AI art stuff, I get so frustrated by it, No, the stuff I can see anyways, right? Stuff I recognize.
I don't remember what it is that we talk about outside the podcast and what we talk about inside the podcast. So like I could be repeating myself over and over again, and I just don't even know anymore. But like, dude, the YouTube shorts that are AI generated are so frustrating, and they're still frustrating till this day. And like I can tell instantly. Like I've gotten really, I don't know if it's just because we're in the line in the career path of AI. So like I'm more, I can tell better than my wife, but like my wife can't tell. She can tell like the more extreme, but like commercials now, like on TV, there's AI generated commercials. And like, I can tell instantly when it's an AI generated commercial. And Kelly's like, how can you tell? I was like, well, first off, if a guy's wide mouth running towards the screen, that's first telling. Like, nobody films like that, especially when the camera kind of moves with them, but then kind of doesn't. Like, it's
That's
very
so
unnatural. That's so AI. Like, the looking off and then back and then off and then back, like, you could tell that that's AI. Like, there's just so many like little things. And like, it's actually funny that Kelly can't tell, and I'm like, oh god, this is terrible. Get this off the screen.
Well, like my hope for some of this, right, is that in the future, it does give people like more of a critical eye, right,
Yeah.
when looking at stuff like that. I know I certainly have a critical eye. I think like, for certain things, right, for very specific things, I get really annoyed with extra fingers, right? A friend of mine, this is like such a basic thing, right? But a friend of mine had a wedding invitation, right? With like
Yeah.
a sort of, I want to say like an anime style of like him and his wife on like this nice background, and it looked really great. I was like, I hate to tell this to you, man, but you got 6 fingers on your right hand. And he's like, I know, I realized a bit too late, but like that kind of thing, I just,
Yeah.
the moment I see it, I stare at it and I can't unsee it, and it really bothers me.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I see this with ads all the time, right?
Yeah.
Ads in the corner of my window on like a website. Like I don't often use an ad blocker on certain sites, and I'll get this ad that I'm like, that's AI art. And it kind of sucks because there's that sort of, I want to say je ne sais quoi, right? But there's the uncanny valley, right?
Yeah.
You know that concept where something looks almost right, but it isn't quite there.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, it almost depends for me because, for instance, my wife had like a picture or two of our dog that she
Hmm.
took, and she took that picture, she uploaded it to ChatGPT, I think, and said, hey, like, generate me some photos of the dog with like a towel in its mouth or bubbles on its head. And she generated that and then printed them onto like big canvas paper, like things, and then hung them in our bathrooms.
Uh-huh.
And the other day I was walking by and I looked at it and I like was looking really closely. And like, if I looked really, really, really closely, yeah, I could probably tell like the fur was like kind of weird. But if you take a step back and don't think about it too hard, one, I don't hate it. It actually looks pretty cool. And two, like, it doesn't look like it's that badly done. And so,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's like in that situation, especially for something stupid where you probably don't want to pay somebody like $200 to do like a painting of your dog, never mind like 5 of them.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, when you don't care that much. And maybe that's it. Maybe it like does like dogs really well, and maybe it does like scenery really well. But then when you try to do like people, maybe people is like too close to that uncanny valley that you're like,
Well,
oh,
I think with dogs and with scenery, like we don't have the same eyes for it, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that humans have just this extra special eye for humans, and so they
yeah,
are like really critical when things look a little bit off. What's
yeah,
funny is you can also give the test where you show somebody an image that's real, like, is this AI generated? And a lot of people make it wrong, right? They're like, that person's
yeah,
right eye looks weird, and you're like, actually, that's the normal person. So
yeah,
I think when there's some kind of intentionality around it, like I'm sure there is with a lot of cases where somebody
yeah,
says, "Okay, I decided I put this in, I got 30 results, and I'm deciding which one's the best." At the end of the day,
yeah,
that comes out to be like a human decision. I
yeah,
think the stuff that bothers me the most is when it feels like there wasn't a single person involved,
yeah,
where somebody made an app that generates a random image, random stuff, and then throws it onto YouTube so
yeah,
that people are inundated with, like, they already had a billion videos,
yeah,
right? They already could
yeah,
never watch all of YouTube, and now you're adding more stuff to YouTube that
yeah,
isn't good, right?
yeah.
I mean, maybe we're part of the problem, but anyways.
Yeah, it's an internal debate for me, right? Like, I get where a lot of people are coming from, where they're like, oh, well, like, this has taken away a job from someone else.
Mhm.
Like, that would have been someone who's getting paid. And, like, I do think that there are cases where that's true, and, like, yeah, that's, like that sucks and it's really unfair. But, like, there are other cases where, like, let's say a person just has a really good idea for a book or for a TV show, and they literally have no money, and they also have no way to get funding from people. Like, in the old world, they just wouldn't be able to use that idea to make anything. But now in today, it's really cheap to get that idea animated, right?
Yep.
An example I like to use is there is one YouTube short that I will always watch. And it's a guy who I think it's like Humans in the Second Loop. And I think I've mentioned this on one of
You've
our other
mentioned
episodes.
this. Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He does a really good job. He puts a lot of intent into it. And they're actually really fun to watch. Like they're very short, like 2 minute, 3 minute. Sometimes they make no sense at all. But that's the thing is I think the point of it is to not make sense because it's literally humans living in a second loop that are like not real humans, you know? Um,
Well,
and
a sci-fi is actually one of those things where, you know, the budget to make it in the past, you'd only be able to make like
yeah,
the B version of it, right?
yeah,
You'd have to hire all these people, right? I
yeah,
there's a YouTube channel that I watch where they basically make mostly AI videos now. They used to make stuff with people and
yeah,
now they make stuff with AI. And it's partially because the stuff that they make is all very weird
yeah,
sci-fi kind of stuff.
yeah,
And, you know, they're like, yeah, like I did this thing where this human head was on a spider robot and it was like trying
yeah,
to, you know, go through the rubble of like a cyberpunk thing. And I could have done this in the past. It would take months and, you know, hiring
yeah,
real people. AI basically gave me the 80/20 version, right?
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
perfect,
yeah,
but they put so much time like, their videos, I feel like, are still good because they must do this all the time and
yeah,
got the perfect shot,
yeah,
right? There's a lot of intention behind it. So, like, that kind of AI is like, sure,
yeah,
right? It's great that that person could do that
yeah.
without, you know, and I'm sure there's people who make props out there for a living who are like, "Fuck you," you know?
Yeah.
We
Well, we're and you know, I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not on our podcast, but we're living proof of people who would have never done anything like this if it wasn't for AI tools. Because we did use AI tools to edit this podcast. And
Yep.
this is why I bring it up because I think it's actually hilarious, right? So when we first started this podcast, we had no time to edit. Also, we didn't know editing. We couldn't afford an editor. So we found a tool that did AI editing for us and we leaned heavy into it, right? And I think our first handful of episodes, we like really AI edited them. But I don't know about you, but for me at least, I feel like I almost started leaning away from it because all of our podcasts literally felt like they were generated by Notebook LM. Like they literally sound AI generated. And I'm like, God, like this just feels like AI slop content. No one even probably thinks we're real people at this point. And so now, I edit the videos, but my editing is let me slap on our intro and outro and kick it out the door. Like I literally don't. I barely like. I think I hit one button, which is like equalize our sound, so we're not like one person's not louder than the other, and that's like the only AI portion I use of the platform. And the
Yeah.
rest, I like the pauses. I
And
like
is
the
that even really
awkward silence.
AI? It could be a technical implementation that
Yeah, exactly. It's probably just a script that goes and goes like equalize out.
like, that's
Yeah,
low, bring it up, that's high, bring
yeah,
it down, right?
yeah,
Um, like, I can see how you would do that without, you know, with code without AI. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
there's this kind of temptation, I think, for a lot of companies right now because AI is where the money is,
yeah,
right? And a lot of companies, rightfully so, are chasing the money, right?
mm,
Even if that
yeah,
money is misplaced, they're saying,
yeah,
hey, you know what? If we can get an extra $200,000, that's
yeah,
an
yeah.
extra, you know. couple
Yeah.
people, right? That's an extra
Actually, you
what?
know what? I want you to pause there because I think you're leaning into the next topic I want to talk about in our podcast, which is
Okay.
AI in the wrong places and AI in the right places. Because I think we could fill out another whole episode. So pause that thought a little bit, and
No,
let's
I
save it
think
for next episode.
I think you're right, and this is probably a decent cutoff point. I don't know. Do you want to have some final
I mean,
statements about here?
I think we did our thing where we talked around in circles, but like, what's the point of this episode? Is it that AI
No,
slop like we shouldn't use AI, or we should use AI?
no. Right. There's a couple ways that you can think about this. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
the point that I'm trying to make, right, the point that this whole conversation is about,
yeah,
is that AI is this big wide umbrella,
yeah,
right? It's it's kind of like in high school. I used to, there were people who'd be like, I don't like books. And you're like, you don't like books? Like that,
yeah, yeah,
saying you don't like a whole medium
yeah,
was crazy to me. I was like,
yeah,
you might not like a lot of books. You might not like the books you read in school, but there's probably some book out there that you
yeah,
will like, right? And I'm sure there's a tiny percentage of people who just literally can't stand reading, right?
yeah,
Um, and maybe it's not a tiny percentage. I don't really know. But the point is I feel like AI is this broad topic, right? And when we talk about it for work,
mm,
I want to be clear that my feelings about AI for work are different than my feelings about AI for art, right?
yeah,
Are different from my feelings about AI for other things, right?
yeah,
I don't think that like AI is not this monolithic topic. It's this giant umbrella where you can say, I don't like that. I do like that. That kind of
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. Well, and like, there's actually a new app I just downloaded that's actually, you know, it's called Hux, and it's funny because it generates podcasts on the fly for you.
Hmm.
And if you haven't heard of this app, you should actually download it. It's pretty cool. I really like it. It essentially just creates specific podcasts for you, and you put in like a bunch of topics you like. You can also put in like where you live. You can put your calendar in there, and so it'll actually start the podcast off with reviewing your calendar in the day, and then it'll like go into like certain things. Like one topic I put in there on my daily review is it shorts day? So it actually like it pops up with, "Hey
What's to the
Jesse."
weather?
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's gonna be blah blah blah. So you can wear shorts, but think about packing some jeans for later in the day. Like, and like what I really liked about this app is that um, I don't like the AI sounds AI generated, so like it's hard to listen to from that perspective. But what I do get from it is it gives me a splash of all the headline news, both AI, tech, and science.
Mm.
And what I would have had to like sit down and read through every single article to find those. But this now gives me like an audio overview really quick while I'm brushing my teeth or getting out of bed. And then anyone I want to like click into, I can go, oh, let me go follow up on that. And I can open it up and look at whatever story it found online. So that's really cool. Right. And that is, but again, like I don't like the fact that it sounds AI, but it gives me it's human enough where I'm not super annoyed by it, and the content is driven enough that I'm like, okay, I'll listen to this. And like that made me think like this tool makes it super accessible to people who have like special needs,
Mhm.
right? Think about a blind person now, like living in this day and age. I feel like I don't know, like and that's the thing. I don't know what it's like to be a blind person. I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like things are just so much more accessible now because you have
Mhm.
AI, and we could build tools now to help with those like special needs.
Yeah. I
We're bleeding into my next episode, but that
yeah, we'll almost go there. I just wanna be really quick on this kind of topic for a second, right?
yeah,
Which is
yeah,
that, like, I think high level AI, when it's used as a tool, I
yeah,
have almost no complaints, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I wanna think about, like, AI as art for a second on, like, the highest, like, the taken to the nth degree, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like, okay, a podcast made just for you that's telling you to wear shorts or, what the
Yeah,
AI
yeah,
news are, right? That's great,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And really, that doesn't need to be for anybody else.
yeah,
Um, but would I wanna watch a movie that AI generated that is actually the perfect movie for me, right?
mm,
Because I think if you go in the future, you can imagine a world where this kind of stuff is auto-generated. You're like, give me a movie that I'm going to love.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it will just create a movie on the fly.
Yeah.
And
well, kids' cartoons, they're just going to be continuously auto-generated. A channel of just continuously generated kid cartoons.
I feel like part of the joy of these things is sharing, right?
Yeah.
And being able to
Did you see that one episode about, what do you know? I was watching dinosaurs talking. Yeah.
I was watching episode 1,000,000,003 and you were watching episodes 3,000,000,000,000 and 7. Like,
yeah.
And the fact that that's not going to line, right? Like, I think that part of the joy of consuming media is sharing it, right?
Yeah.
And when you have all this stuff that's custom made for everybody, you know, in the future, is it going to be great to share, right? And also sometimes you really like rewatching a movie, right?
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't. I feel like that temptation is less there when there's
endless content,
infinite content.
Well,
right?
or it doesn't save, so it was auto generated, and you can never watch it again.
You can, there's sort of a.
You can watch a similar one, but that exact one.
There's a phrase in Japanese, ichigo ichie, which is like one moment, one meeting, right? Like everything's kind of unique. And that's nice when you're like treating everything with this kind of grace. But I will say that, I don't know, like movies, it is nice to be like, oh, I saw this stupid movie on the plane. Let's watch it together, right? Like that's
or yell
nice
at your
thing.
friends when they haven't seen a movie, like Hail Mary,
or Wayne's World. You know, I mean, I guess there's a lot of things.
No, but you're completely right, and it's interesting. I said something to someone the other day, and this is so relatable, which is I feel like as we advance in technology, like technology enables us to be closer, and yet it feels like it's pushing us further and further apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're all so connected, but we're more disconnected than we were like 20 years ago. And if the world continues in that direction that you just said, where we all get individual content that we can't even talk about to each other, in that world, what do we even talk to each other about?
Why bother talking instead of consuming more content? Right.
Let me just that's crazy. That's crazy to think about.
But yeah, I guess this is a wide world. I just want to be clear that the things that we're talking about, right? Like when we talk about AI, it's not one thing, right? When you talk about things like coding or DevOps, right? Like or anything, they're not just one thing. It's like this big wide umbrella. And so
well, and it's so different. Like even for me, my experiences working with AI in my company versus as a side project, right? We talked about this side project, but like I can't afford to use Opus 4.6 Max, outside of work. So I'm using Composer 2, which is like the a model cursor made that was a brand off of Kimi, and it's not the same. It is not the same. The coded cursor or Claude 4 Opus 4.6 Max thinking creates is like pretty good just out of the box. Composer, I'm like literally fighting with it to create the correct if else statements. Like it and that's just me knowing how to use AI, and then I eventually fine tune it to get it to work. But man, it's just interesting to see how different using AI is depending on like where you're at, what's the software you're using, is it well documented, is it not?
What's your end goal?
Yeah. It's insane. All right.
What a world.
It's 26 minutes. I think that's a good time for the podcast end. I think we average about that.
I think that's a good average. Let us know in the comments if you think this is too long or too short, or if we're totally wrong about AI. So
let us know in the comments what you think the point of this episode was. We're still trying to figure it out.
We'll know in a month, or maybe we'll never know, and that's part of the fun.
Maybe that's what we're like Seinfeld. There's no point to our episodes.
Yeah. We just got to start the whole series off with that,
Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good night.
You too.
And that was our containerized conversation. I'm Jesse Caffarelli.
I'm Josh Warhurst. Have a great night.